Good enough about those. Thanks again for tuning in to yet another video. Infamous coming at you live from the West Coast yet again, San Jose, California. So let's talk about compensators for your Milwaukee 8 or maybe your Dyna, your twin cam, whatever you got. Maybe you're in the market and you're wondering, hey, what is this stuff going on with these M8 Softails or touring models? These M8 compensator sprockets are blowing up, stuff like that. What's going on? So I'm in the Facebook group. Here's a few videos. Of course, you saw pieces of the ramp, the compensator. They're loose. You can see people are recommending alternatives. I've mentioned this in another video. And here we have yet another one. You can see chunks of the ramp, the comp. It's busted. Of course, there's multiple images. Some folks, like I mentioned in my previous video, some of these have gone out in 800 miles. Some of these have gone out in 2,000 miles. It really, I mean, it just depends. Of course, NorCal mentioned in one of my videos, he's had his for over 20,000 miles, or maybe 30,000 miles, and he still has the OEM compensator. So, hey, I decided to change mine because I was seeing these images, and I know this compensator design is actually the Screaming Eagle comp that they're using, but like most manufacturers, they try to save a buck, they try to save a few cents, and they'll switch over to a more inferior product, or maybe a more cost-effective product or component. And I believe this is what's happening with these comps. So you know, just see some of these guys are putting out noise. This guy, rest in peace, compensator, I got 130 miles. But then again, he did put a 131 in it. Let's go ahead and look at the new compensator that was just announced recently this week, that I saw a 30-tooth comp, which is pretty impressive. Now, the Man of War did have a 32-teeth option, but I believe the issues were probably because of the chain. You can see that this kit has a chain. Something that I've noticed from the 32 teeth compensator from Man of War. I believe it was probably the chain causing some issues. So Baker, they've been around for a bit, not as long as some other manufacturers, but they make great products, made in the USA, top quality stuff. You guys know, they're bulletproof components, and they've been using their stuff for some time now. So pretty impressive what they did here. You have a 32 tooth kit for the M8. They also make it for the Dyna, in case you're wondering. And just on the description, I was pretty much impressed with what they have. So it's $750, but like I said, they're including the chain as well for the $750. Yes, it is the most expensive one out there, but I believe when you see the description and the smaller comp, it's going to give you it's going to give you more acceleration, more torque. And of course, this ramp system is also a little bit more responsive compared to the OEM. So it's pretty neat. They give you everything, the spring pack, the T70 bolt as well. That's also included, along with a couple shims in case the spacing between the clutch basket and the comp is not right. You could also, like I said, they provide 3 different shims with the T70. Pretty unique little package that they have here. And like I said, reading the description, it gives you a 13% increase on the drive ratio. So like it says right here, the kit will advance your performance to a stage 2 or more. So if you have a stage 1, which is exhaust, tune, and air breather, if you throw this kit on there on your stage 1, it's going to perform and feel like a stage 2 or even more, like I said right here. So pretty impressive. All right, this replaces the stock 32 tooth comp sprocket and yields a 13% increase in the primary drive ratio. So based off of that, we know it's going to accelerate. You are going to lose a little bit of the top end speed, but I mean, come on, there's a speed limit. Harleys, you could take them top speed, maybe 120 miles per hour. I have never ridden that fast on my bike. we are in the triple digits, but nowhere near 120. But you know what? It's a little bit of give and take when it comes to making your comp shorter or having a smaller comp compared to your stock 34. So 13% increase. You guys let me know in the comments, is that something worth doing? Giving up a little bit of that top end speed for more torque. A 13% increase in torque, that sounds pretty good to me. As someone who rides a lot of city, that might be appealing. If you ride highway, like I said, there's a speed limit. So I mean, even if you are riding 70, 80, maybe 90 miles per hour, your RPMs are going to be a little bit higher. But then again, you have a 6-speed transmission in these bikes. So you guys let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? All right, so here are the instructions. Like I mentioned, you have the cam lobes for the ramp system. Pretty impressive. Everything high quality materials, components, made in the USA. Just overall the quality of this, and like I said, the performance is a plus considering how fragile these OEM ramps are. So of course they're recommending their own tensioner. This piece alone, I believe, is like $200, but we'll talk about tensioners in another video. So let's go ahead and just look at the gear ratio, what it means, of course. So a larger 34 teeth means more speed, and you have let's just pretend this is a 30 tooth comp, and that's more torque. So you guys get the idea of how this thing works. So the same thing when you're swapping out the sprockets for your chain drive. Have you guys seen the chain kits out there for your rear wheel from your inner primary gear, or whatever you want to call it? So let's go ahead and look at another option from Baker, another 34 tooth comp. So just to kind of show you guys what's out there, this one's going to feel like your OEM. I don't think it's going to sound as clunky as your OEM. So this is going to improve the sound of the shifting, and it's going to, it's going to be a little bit more durable, and it's going to be a little bit more responsive because of once again, the cam lopes, or whatever they call it, the sprocket. Let's go ahead and just look at where that's at. And so this is the inside of this piece right here. So there's your cam lobes. There's your little ramp system. You can see the shape's different. So it still, does the whole function of the sprocket, and the way these are made and designed. And you can see the spring pack is a lot more compact. So in my opinion, a better design than what you get with the OEM. So you guys, like I said, you guys can share your thoughts down below. But like I said, 34 tooth Baker, it's gonna handle like your OEM, and I believe it's gonna sound a little bit quieter. I don't have experience with these. The only ones I have experience with is the Screaming Eagle and the Man of War. So let's go ahead and move up to the Man of War option. This is the one I chose. Like I mentioned, this one acts kind of like a eliminator sprocket and a comp. It's kind of a 2-in-1. It's a happy medium. This thing is responsive. Like I mentioned in my review, I was surprised how responsive this comp is compared to the Screaming Eagle one. So you could also see right here, these are the cushions on the inside. You will have to replace these depending on how hard you ride, but for my riding, these are probably serviced at 40,000 miles after installation. I believe the other options, you don't need any servicing. You just kind of set it and forget it, which is another benefit of having the Baker one. You don't have to replace cushions or anything like that. So pretty impressive. So like I said, this is the one I went with. They had a 32 tooth option, but I believe they were having the issues were just because the chain. That's my opinion. If they were providing a chain, that probably would have resolved some of those issues. So nice little well-designed piece. This one does have a little bit of noise depending on the spacing, the run out, I believe. In my opinion, that's what I believe is some of the issues. I'm not entirely sure, but yes, this is going to have more idle noise than the other options, than your OEM and the Baker. So it's just to kind of keep that in mind, depending on the tensioner and probably the spacing between the chain, your clutch basket and the sprocket. You might have more idle noise, or you might have what I got was just, you know, a little bit of marble sounding, you know, noise. So not bad at all. Nothing that I can't handle. I have headers on my bike. I don't really hear it anyways. So let's go ahead and go on to the last option here. This is the one I also mentioned. This is a steel billet steel piece, and this will give you the same sound, the same feel of your OEM. You're not changing anything other than the ramp, which is pretty cool. This is by far the cheapest. You don't have to swap out the chain or anything. And if you see my video on the install, you could actually not remove your clutch basket. You could just pull out the outer comp piece and then swap out your ramp, and you're pretty much done. So this is just, like I said, it's a better piece. I believe Harley, to cut corners and to cut the cost, I believe what they did was they just used a cheaper material. I don't know. A lot of people know what's going on with this. I think it's just, I mean, they're just trying to cut costs. So the Dynas did not have this issue. Quick recap: the Star Racing comp ramp is gonna feel just like your OEM, and it's gonna sound just like your OEM, but it's gonna give you that peace of mind and that durability of just the higher quality ramp, the billet steel piece. And the Man of War, of course, it's gonna feel more responsive. It's gonna have the idle noise, and it's gonna be pretty much, you know, the quality, everything about it's gonna be better, but you'll have to service it at about 40,000 miles. If you're beating on the bike and you have a 131 or something like that, then you're probably looking at 10,000 miles before you need to service these cushions. So this is a serviceable part, like I said. And then of course you have the Baker piece, which is good as well. It's just that it's gonna feel like your OEM. It's gonna sound like your OEM, but it's gonna have more durability. And then we have the 30-tooth piece right over here, which is the newest one, the most expensive one, but it's gonna have the durability, it's gonna have the quality, and it's gonna give you that 13% increase in performance, torque, acceleration, responsiveness. So you guys let me know in the comments. Maybe this will help you decide which comp you want to go with. If this would have, you know, been released right before I bought my comp, my Man of War, I probably would have gone this route. I think this would have been a little bit more impressive on my lowrider S, since I do have a stage 1. So you guys stay out there, stay safe. Thanks for tuning in. Life's a risk. Get out there and ride. Later.